So we have a system, and I'm very confident that I will be the nominee, but I'm not taking anything or any place or anyone for granted.
Even if you don't win New York?
Oh, I'm absolutely confident I will be the nominee.
Hillary Clinton on ABC's Good Morning America this morning telling George Stephanopoulos she's confident she's going to be the Democrat nominee. But Bernie Sanders has put up quite a fight. In fact, he's been winning all the most recent primaries and caucuses. Bernie says Hillary isn't confident. Instead, he says she's nervous. Now, Sanders continually does better than Mrs. Clinton in a general election matchup against all the Republican candidates. So will Bernie's campaign continue to ignite and just surprise Mrs. Clinton, perhaps blocking her once clear path to the Democratic nomination? It's a subject worth talking about with our political panel. First up, from my old stomping grounds of Raleigh, North Carolina, via Skype, we've got Republican media strategist and ad maker Marc Rotterman. And via Skype from New York City, well, it's our good friend and admitted Democrat, senior political contributor for Forbes.com, Rick Ungar. Rick, it's your party. The latest Emerson poll shows Sanders up in Wisconsin. I guess that's no surprise given the pail and shovel party there at UW-Madison. But what about Bernie making Hillary kind of feel the burn?
I think she's been feeling it, but, at the end of the day, this is about math. It's really hard to see how he sneaks in front of her. I think he will win in Wisconsin, but she'll still get nearly half the delegates because his win, I don't think, will be that large. New York, let's say he even could pull off a win, which I kind of don't think he will, but he could. Even there, again, it would be just a few points. She ends up with half the delegates. He has to do much, much, much better than that to really eat into her already substantial lead.
Marc Rotterman, we look at the Democratic Party and we see some curious things that, forgive me, I know that Rick would take issue with this, that seem less than democratic. For example, the liberal use of superdelegates, gone is the one person, one vote notion. They have a lot of votes in their hip pocket in the establishment. In the final analysis, Mark, does that just save the day for Hillary, no matter what happens in Wisconsin or New York?
It may well, but I'm not sure the fix is in. They could change their mind. I think she's conceded Wisconsin. He raised $44 million last month. He started out as a protest candidate, and now I think he is a serious candidate, and I think he's going to outperform in New York, so we'll stay tuned. I mean, people just don't trust this lady, and I think she's got a lot of negatives going into New York, particularly if he does very well in Wisconsin.
Rick, I understand there's been some talk from Hillary and her brain trust going out to remind people, wait a minute, Bernie's not even a Democrat. He's a democratic socialist.
Well, I don't think that's her point. I think her point is he's been an independent up until this time.
Well, yeah, he's not been a member of the Democratic Party. But given the volatile days we are in, where people look askance at insiders and party bosses, will this redound to Bernie's benefit? The fact that he truly is an outsider on the Democrat side. We got about 45 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think it's hurting him, JD. I don't think that's her best argument. He's running in the Democratic primary. If he wasn't a Democrat and that bothered people, they don't have to vote for him. So while I think she has some good arguments and she has gotten a lot more votes than Bernie, I don't think that's her best play.
Mark, you got anything to say about that? And the Democratic Socialist, about 15 seconds here, sir.
Look at the crowds he's getting. I think people don't differentiate. The young people are coming out for him. I think he's got a heck of a base working for him.
Well, it's worth noting that he's got some working for him, and we got some working with you guys, too, to the point where we want you to stay just where you are, because there is plenty to discuss on the eve of the Wisconsin primary, and we will do so with Mark and Rick as we continue. But in the interim, this note, you heard what they had to say about Bernie and Hillary. I'm interested in what you think about that. Send your comments to me at newsmaxtv.com/comments or go to Twitter where our handle is at Newsmax Prime.